So, I had a dream more than a year ago, but last night I had a chunk of it reoccur in the same way, and then I woke up, and then it let me remember the past dream. I don't know if anybody's had a reoccurring dream before, but if it reoccurs or part of it reoccurs, you're able to remember the past dream. What is interesting, because I've forgotten this dream for at least a year. It's kind of a funny one. But first, I'm falling and I fall. But then I'm in the hospital and I recover from the fall. But the doctors tell me they can't do anything for me and I need to stay in the hospital against my will. Meanwhile, they're hooking me up to machines. I ask why. They start explaining to me that they figured out what was wrong with me from childhood for the last 25 years and they need to cut me open and start removing organs out of me. So they start cutting me open and removing my organs out of me for what my mother did through childhood. All the overdoses, the extra Epicac, the weird foods, the poisonings on Halloween, the extra medications, the lying and making up stories to my doctors so that way they would give me more drugs, the twisting, the brainwashing, the affecting a little child's mind and trying to fuck his mind up, the stealing his accomplishments, the stealing of his medals, swimming medals, the trying to turn him into a liar, a thief, and a mental patient. All the shit my mother was doing. I'm now getting my kidneys removed. They're cutting me open right in front of me. All that. But then they close me up. I'm in extreme pain and they're keeping me alive in the hospital. I asked to be on a do not resuscitate order, but yet they won't give it to me because my family wants me to suffer. My family comes in and tells me they want me to suffer for their sins, and my father goes, no, 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 no. At 7 years old, you swallowed whatever your mother gave you, so it's your own fault for listening to us. It's your own fault for listening to us. You should have slit our throat in Maine. You should have slit our throat in fucking New Mexico when you were 9. But you didn't, so it's your own fault that now you have to die a slow, painful death in your 30s. My father explains to me that, you're an orphan anyways. I never wanted you. The only reason I got you was to keep your mother under wraps. That's it. You took the meds that we took. You could have slit our throat at any time, went to jail, and then came out of jail and lived your life. But you chose to smile and do what we told you. When we jumped, you jumped. That's your own fault that you listened to your parents. You should have never listened to your mother, so it's your fault you took those pills. You were 7 years old. Your mother said, take these pills, and you took them. So it's your fault. You're a 7-year-old who took the medication your mother gave you. It's your fault during your adoption you were passed out, drugged, sleeping. It's your fault because your mother gave you a pill before you got in the car. You could have spit that out and cheeked it, but it's your own fault because you did what your mother told you to do. You shouldn't have done that. You should have slit your mother's throat. You should have fucking went to jail, and then you could have lived in a good life. But instead, you were a smiling baby. You were a smiling child who did whatever your mother told you to do. You went to the ballet. You went to the school. You got made fun of. You took the pills. You went to the doctors your mother sent you to. And you even told the doctors the truth and got smacked around for it. No matter what you did, you stuck to honesty and doing what you were told. That was your own fault. You should have slit your mother's throat. So this is my dream, my fucked up dream. My father's telling me I should have slit my mother's throat. Yes, my father walks into the hospital. I'm on life support in the bed. I'm dying. Yes, I'm dying from what my mother did to me, like in real life. Yes, in real life, I have a lot of very painful suffering pains all over my body. I've had many, many, many problems for 25 years since the age of 7. That's real life. But in the dream, my father comes in and tells me it's my own fault because I could have slit their throat at any time. The most fucked up thing a father could say, right? But he probably would say something like that. He probably would put the blame in New Mexico and the overdose and the neurological disorder on me. That's probably why I was having this dream. because my father continues to try to put his own responsibilities onto his child. He always has. He always wanted me to be the adult. I had to understand concepts at the age of 7 that some people at the age of 30 don't understand. I'm not kidding. My father is trying to teach me to take responsibility for my actions. Meanwhile, his wife still hasn't learned how to do this. His wife can't even take responsibility for her own drinking or her own spending. Yes, she spends money, $2,000 on a pocketbook. You think my father was told about it? No, he found out when the bill came in. That's something a 7-year-old does, like I did. Yeah, when I was 11 years old, I used a credit card without permission. When I was 11, and I learned my lesson. And then I started taking responsibility for my actions. I drank a sip of beer with my brother. I went straight up to my father and said I did something wrong. I took a sip of beer. Why? Because I learned how to take responsibility for my actions. But even at the age of 63 years old, my mother's popping her son's medications and blaming her son and making up punishments for her son because she got caught popping his pills. That is not how you take responsibility. When you get caught popping your son's medication, you don't just go, oh, it was only one time. It's your fault for watching me. No, how dare you? You're punished for watching me. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care if you were watching your medications. You were watching me, so you're punished. My mother actually did that. My mother was popping my medication. She got caught red-handed. I brought it to my father. My father asked her, and instead of taking responsibility and getting help, my mother said, it was only one time, start punishing the child. And so then I got punished. Yes, I got punished because my mother was stealing my drugs. Crazy, huh? But it was because my mother did not know how to take responsibility for her actions, and my father did not care if she did or not. My father let her do whatever she wanted. If she wanted to put a hot poker up my ass and I'm screaming in pain in the other room and she tortures me like the frickin' people used to do in the 1800s, actually that would have been the 1000s. Yeah, my mother could have put a hot poker over a fire until it was red hot, brought me upstairs, shoved that thing up my ass, and when I scream in pain and have serious damage to my body, and I'm screaming, my mother just go, oh no, it's a medical treatment. Yeah, he's gonna get better, don't worry. Just don't mind it, go downstairs. And then when the police came, she would just say, no, 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 it never happened. And my father would be whistling in the corner, believing it all. Just like the Vicodin, just like the pills, just like the pills. Yes, my mother was popping pills. She was popping her son's pills. And when she got caught with the worst one of all, her son's Vicodin, yes, she was popping all different kinds of pills, but she was popping her son's Vicodin that her son was prescribed because of the side effects of the other pills that the mother is giving to the son. And now she's hiding in the closet, popping multiple Vicodin, going back and forth into the closet. She's on her third trip to the closet. So I go down, tell my father what's going on, and then do they take responsibility? No, I'm in trouble. Why am I in trouble? Because I watched her. Yes, because I got permission to sit there and I watched my meds get taken. Yes, I watched my meds get taken, so I'm in trouble. This is how stupid it is. And this is what I mean. There are grown adults who haven't learned lessons. But when I was 7 years old, I'm expected to know it all. I'm expected to know every single lesson. Nobody wants to teach me the lesson. They just want to smack me around for not knowing it. This is fucked up. You got a 7-year-old, for goodness sake, getting full bottles of Epicac because he doesn't know the meaning of words yet. Yes, I got a full bottle of Epicac because I didn't know the words or meanings of certain words. I ate a mushroom outside. I repeated a phrase that was saying that this was the phrase. What are you trying to do? Commit suicide? A week prior, I was told that. So my little tiny nephew, 3 years younger than me, I'm like 6, 5. He's like 2, 3. We're outside. He asked what I'm doing. I don't have the phrasing to put it yet because the word I'm looking for is eat. I'm eating. That's about it. But I don't know because this isn't, at that age, we're thinking eating is sitting at a table eating powdered eggs for me. For me, it's sitting with a bunch of kids at a large table eating powdered eggs. That's eating. But outside, plucking a mushroom is foraging. I still don't understand that foraging and eating, I don't have those concepts. All I know is I took a bite of a mushroom, and that's it. And he already knows this. He already sees I took a bite of a mushroom, and I've told him this. So I don't understand the question. So I use another adult. Adult told me this was called committing suicide. Now, I don't know what suicide is at this time. I'm only 5 years old. I do know what killing yourself is, but nobody has used that phrase yet. So I just say, I think it's called suicide. Yeah, I am committing suicide according to the older kid. Now, I don't know what this is meaning. I just see a red pretty mushroom. I'm going to eat it. A grown adult in his 20s tells me, what are you trying to do? Commit suicide? And stops me. Then a week later, I see a colorful red mushroom while I'm playing outside, and it still looks yummy, so I pick it up and I take a bite. My nephew asks what I'm doing. I don't have the words for it, but according to another adult, I'm committing suicide. So I repeat that phrase. Then I go to see my wise mother, right? My mother who's so wise. She'll unravel all this. You know, she's a nurse and has so much skills in psychology. So she asks me if I'm trying to commit suicide, because that's what my nephew told my mother. I say, no, I don't know what that means. I don't know. So I start saying, I don't know, no, I don't know, no. Kids answer, obviously. And don't forget, it's very easy to change your kid's answer. Kids are very impressionable and they're easy to manipulate. So then my mother goes, are you trying to kill yourself? And I say, oh no, I know what that one means. No, I'm not trying to kill myself. I'm trying to eat it like a pizza. Like on a pizza. You know how you put the mushroom on the pizza? I'm trying to eat it like that. Whatever that word is. And then they go, no. You're trying to commit suicide, aren't you? And I say, I don't know. Are you trying to kill yourself? I say, no, absolutely not. I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to eat it like a pizza. At this point, she goes, no, you're trying to commit suicide. You're trying to kill yourself. I don't care. You're lying. Nope. Get in that fucking bathroom. Get in that bathroom. I don't care what you say. Get in that bathroom. Get in that bathroom. I don't care. And I start crying. I'm not trying to kill myself. I start repeating that over and over to my mother. And she keeps on getting more riled up. Yes, you are. That's exactly what you were trying to do. You're suicidal. How could you do this to me? You're suicidal. No, I'm not. I just wanted to eat it like a pizza. And I keep on saying that to her as she brings me to the bathroom. Then she gets the Epicac ready. No big deal as a parent to give your child back in the 90s or 1999 or 1998 a spoonful of Epicac, right? You measure out this thick, clear goo, and you give it to your child. Nope, not with my mother. She goes, I'm going to give you extra Epicac as a punishment. Seeing as you want to punish me by committing suicide, I'm going to give you extra medication. So she grabs a cup, and she says, see the cup? Look. And then she takes the bottle, and the cup is empty, and she pours this thick, viscous liquid. It's thicker than water. And she fills it right to the rim. And then she says, I want you to drink all this, and I'm going to stand right here until you finish it. So I start trying to drink it. I get about halfway through, start gagging and vomiting. Then I get back up to drink some more, and I start gagging and vomiting. And then my mother smiles, gets a thrill out of it, walks into the hallway, walks away. As I try to finish this whole cup of Epicac, I try to drink it. I start vomiting. I can't stop vomiting now. And after I finally get a breath, I take another sip because my mother's going to smack the shit out of me if I don't finish this full cup of Epicac. But I can't finish it because I'm vomiting now, and I can't get anything down. I can't get any more Epicac down because I'm vomiting so severely. But there's still a little bit on the bottom of the cup. Then I look at the water full of vomit, and I just pour the cup down, and a couple drops at the bottom go into there as I vomit. And then the cup just goes on the back, and I can't stop vomiting. I drank at least 6 ounces of pure Epicac that day. It was a 8-ounce Dixie cup filled up to the brim with Epicac to about the 7-ounce mark, I would say, and there was only 1 ounce at the bottom left. So I drank about 6 ounces of pure Epicac. That was one of the most harmful things to my stomach I ever experienced. I mean, I have vomited, I've had the flu, I've had food poisoning, but Drinking 10 times the recommended dose of Epicac is no joke. Don't do it. Don't. If your mother tries to do it, call the police. If you're my age, you can't. You might not know what's going on. I was only 5, 6, 7 years old when my mother was doing this shit to me, and I didn't understand the concepts. All I was trying to do was eat a mushroom, and I repeated something I shouldn't have. But this scarred me for life. Yes, still to this day, I have problems with my stomach and esophagus thanks to my mother doing this to me. And this is not my nephew's fault. It's not my fault. It's the parents' fault. But this dream, you got to remember, my father will try to come into that hospital and tell me this is all my fault. It's your fault you had to take the full bottle of Epicac because you said you were suicidal. There are plenty of kids who say they want to kill themselves and none of them get poisoned by their mother. That is the stupidest motherfucking thing I ever heard. That the reason why my mother kept on poisoning me is something my fault. That is victim blaming. That's trying to avoid responsibility. That's an asshole trying to get away with murder. That's exactly how killers do it. When people drink and drive and they murder somebody with their car and they leave the scene of the crime and they get caught, they always say the same thing. It's not my fault. He jumped right out in front of me. It's not my fault. He was out of nowhere. It's not my fault. He should have been wearing bright clothing. It's not my fault. He should have. He should have. He should have. Not my fault. He should have. Well, how about you? Should have you not been drinking and driving, something that everybody in the United States knows could cause the death of a person? You knew that if you had a drink and you got behind a car, there was a 50-50 chance that somebody was going to end up dead or hurt. You knew that. We've been told it on the TV. Every show plays warnings about it. You knew that. So maybe you shouldn't have drank and drive. Maybe it has nothing to do with the guy coming home from work wearing his work clothes that weren't bright enough for you. But yet, that's what they'll do. They'll say it's their fault for not wearing a bright clothing. Yes, a pedestrian should wear a bright clothing, but a driver also shouldn't be drunk and should be in control of their car at all times. So if you weigh everything out, it's the driver. Anyway, so this dream. My father comes in the hospital, starts blaming me that I'm sick because of all this stuff that happened during childhood. I should have slit her throat when I had the chance, my father says. It's my own fault I didn't do so. Blah, blah, blah. All this crazy shit my father's saying. And it really bothers me that in my dreams, my father and mother still act crazy. I mean, can't I at least dream that they're at least good parents? Can I at least have a dream that my father loved me and actually, tried to get me an education, a career, and wanted me to be a better person than him? Can I at least dream that my mother wasn't hurting me and maybe she actually was trying to bring me to the doctor to get me well? Can I at least have that dream? No. My dreams have to be realistic. So anyways, my father is blaming me. My mother is dead, and I'm dying in the hospital with them trying to keep me alive. At this point, I die and I become a ghost. Yes, I die and I'm a ghost on the ceiling. My body's dead and I start getting buried. My father starts making up stories to try to act like this was all my fault at my own funeral. He's telling all my friends. Then my friends start talking about how they're going to tie him up and give him a taste of what Zach was talking about. Because the people close to me seen me suffer for 25 years. They've seen me underweight. They've seen me have seizures. They've seen me sober for 8 years and trying to help them go to AA. They've seen me get pregnant women back with their families that have nothing to do with me. They've seen me this goody two-shoes, and now my father's trying to act like I'm some evil gangbanger at my funeral. So all my friends get together at my funeral and they say, we got to teach this motherfucker a lesson. We got to teach this motherfucker a lesson. Zach was good to us. Zach was always his goody two-shoes, helping old men, disabled children, addicts get sober, all these people. I think it's our time to help him now that he's dead. And I'm up there as a ghost going, no, no, nothing good comes out of evil, no. But I'm on the ghost on the ceiling in this dream. I'm just a ghost watching what goes on. So then, these friends of mine, or the people who knew me growing up, that seen me suffer from my dad's and mother's actions for 25 years, from childhood, all these people around the country get together. and they start really fucking with my father's family and his wife's family. All of a sudden, people start getting sick. They start getting poisoned. They start getting weird diseases. They start getting skin contact and all these, and they start losing all these horrible things. They lose their hair. They start losing fingers. They get sick. The doctors don't know what's going on. Then their house burns down. And then all of a sudden, some serial killer is killing people in the family. And they don't know what the hell's going on. Zach's dead. What the hell's going on? Well, when Zach was alive, everybody was great. Nobody ever got bothered by Zach. Zach only sent money. He barely asked for anything. He just sat dying in the woods with no shoes, about to have his toes removed. Meanwhile, you guys were all on vacation. Zach left you guys alone to your own devices. Meanwhile, he died from your choices. But now Zach's dead, so what could be going on? Well, Zach never had an evil bone in his body. That's the problem. I don't care. I don't want anybody hurt. I don't have that personality. I never did. I'm the one who gets abused. That's always been the case. Even since childhood. When you put me and a bunch of people in a room, it's most likely going to be that the other people hurt me and then they use me as a scapegoat to get out of trouble. I'm always used. I mean, goddamn, my mother was using me like that as childhood. Oh, blame him on everything. The pills, everything. The swimming medal. I'm trying to get back at her. Everything's about her. That's what this was, and it still is. I see it with my father and his new wife. It's just, old habits die hard. It's easier to blame your son than take responsibility for your own failures as a father. And that's the problem. I'm going to die because I can't drive, I can't work, I can't collect my Social Security, I can't do anything that is required to stay alive. I do it anyways, and then I get injured, and then I'm in the hospital. I try to do it, and then I just get injured, and I do complete it. I do work and get injured and end up with more disabilities, but that's all I can do until my father cleans up his mess. So anyways, now that you have some background information, I'm dead. I'm a ghost, just watching everything unfold. And these people send a note on my father's door. The note says, "You called your son a serial killer. You called your son a fire starter. You called him crazy. You disabled him. You drugged him. You gave him full bottles of Ipecac. You gave him an overdose. You destroyed his nervous system. You destroyed his speech. You made it so he could never drive. You made it so he could never work." Just a whole list of all the things that you said about your son. You said he was having vision problems. You said he was slow. You said he was a serial killer, that he liked to torture animals. You said that he liked to start fires and burn houses down. You said that all these type of things. You said that he needed drugs and medication for the rest of his life. Well, now he's dead because of the things you said and the things you did, is the end of the letter on the door. And then at the end of the letter, it says, is what you said true? Was your son, when he was alive, a fire setter? Was your son, when he was alive, a serial killer? Was your son, when he was alive, a psycho? Was your son going and beating you up, getting violent with you, stealing stuff from your house, and all this stuff? Did he go to jail, and did you have to bail him out for stealing your television and your refrigerator and your mattresses and your watches and your jewelry? Did you ever have to call the police because you caught him breaking into your house? Did you ever have anybody break into your houses while you were gone? No, never any break-ins, never any problems. But yet, they had their own break-ins. Some foster child broke into their house when I was 5 in Westford. Also, they had a break-in in Maine when I was 16. And only thing I can think of about the one in 16 is there was this guy named Rex who the year prior was talking to me, and I was bragging about Maine about a month before the TV went missing, and then he would never answer his phone again. The week after the TV went missing, he wouldn't talk to me. But then again, he was a cool kid, and I was a goody two-shoes, so maybe he just dropped contact. I have no proof. Plus, my father and mother were pissing off a lot of people. And they were bragging about having a beach house in Maine to a lot of people, too. So even though I bragged about a beach house and one of my friends stopped talking to me, My father also bragged to a lot of people, and a lot of people stopped talking to him too. So there's a whole list of people we could write down who might have done this, because it's somebody who doesn't like us, and it's somebody who knew we would be away from home in Ogunquit. Somebody who knew Ogunquit would be closed. So I'm thinking Rex. That's the only friend I have that would do something. And how do you know it's not me? I can't even drive. I was at my brother's house. He would never drive me to grab his TV. You're kidding me? My brother Tim letting me steal an Ogunquit TV and bring it to his place? Absolutely not. Plus, my brother would have snitched me out about a stolen TV for my father in a heartbeat. So, no. But I'm trying to think of who it could be. But I bet it was probably somebody my father knew, just to get back at him too. It was either Rex or somebody else who stopped talking to my father. Anyways, other than some foster child, maybe. Now, we don't know if the foster child took that one when I was 5 either. But it sure seemed like it. Because my father blamed them and told the cops it was her, even though they had no evidence. So, they all thought it was her. So maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was one of her friends. I really don't know. But other than those two things going missing, there were no thefts. And definitely not from me. I never had to admit to stealing anything of wealth. Now, after I got blamed for stealing, and my mother passed away, and my father stole my inheritance, my social security, and 12 grand that was supposed to go to my rent. Yes, he stole my rent money, so I got thrown out to the street. Anyways, after he stole all that, and he was trying to give away my mother's jewelry and all my mother's things to his new wife, who he just got a girlfriend who he got in the bed with. Yes, I tried to take my mother's stuff back, and I tried to sell it for pot. The worst thing I ever did. So you got that going on in real life. Back to the dream. So anyways, in this dream, there's a note on the door, and I'm dead, a ghost, watching this, telling them, no, stop it. Stop it. Can't you all get along? Please, stop the violence. Stop it. Stop blaming one another. You guys need to work together, and then this world can be a decent place. But this is just one of many problems around the world that's keeping us from moving forward. They want us fighting so we can't get a decent wage. So things continue falling apart. Please work together. So my ghost is saying that. Meanwhile, my father's getting mad reading the note. Then he calls and they start trying to fuck up some other people. They start trying to take this out on Seth and other people. They start thinking that maybe my brother or my grandson did it. So they make a plan to harm my grandson, my father does. Because he thinks now that my grandson is about to hurt him. And then these assholes, old friends of mine, come out of nowhere on the middle of the night while my father's out to eat one night, and they start teaching him a lesson. They light his house on fire. They give him a beating. Then, and I'm crying. I'm crying as a ghost because I can't imagine something like that happening to my father. But then, on top of that, they start tracking down family members of my wife, of his wife, and people he loves, and they start serial killing because that's what they called me. And then they write another note and they put it on the door. Your son was not a serial killer. Your son was not a fire setter. Your son was not evil. Your son tried to help the disabled. He tried to help the criminals. He tried to help the hookers. And he did. But now that you killed your son, there is nothing keeping us in check. So the real serial killer is now here because you killed your son. The real fire setter is here because you killed your son. The real psycho people are here because you killed your son. Your son was trying to help the people in need. He was doing a good job helping others. He was going to church. He worked with all the leopards of society. Meanwhile, you let your wife cripple him and make up stories about him being a serial killer. You made up stories about him being a fire setter. You made up stories about illnesses that do not exist. Meanwhile, your son went without real medical care for a real physical illness that is now killing him. So, now, your consequences are clear. You made up those fantasies about your son, and now those real people are here to fuck with you. And then I'm still up there going, no, 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 as a ghost. And that was a weird dream. Now, only one piece of that played last night. And that was the piece with me as a ghost. I was already dead and I was a ghost. And that was a reoccurring dream. I fall, I die, They try to keep me awake in the hospital. I get back in my body when I'm at the hospital, but then I die again after my family tries to cause as much pain and suffering as possible. They even say they're doing it on purpose. My friends see this, they can't do anything about it.